All right, to that breaking news in downtown Houston. Firefighters are responding to a fire near Leland and St. Emmanuel. Our reporter, TJ Parker, just arrived and has the latest now live. TJ?
Yeah, good morning, Tom. It's still a pretty active scene here, but the good news is that firefighters have knocked this fire out. They got a call around 6:15 this morning of a fire in this building here. Yes, in the 2100 block of Leland. Firefighters on scene tell us that the fire was in the area of the roof of this building. The good news is that nobody was inside at the time. Investigators are on their way out here right now to figure out exactly what happened here. But again, the good news is that nobody was inside, and firefighters have since knocked that fire out that they got a call about around 6 this morning. We're live near downtown. I'm TJ Parker, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Tests are now underway to see if the driver of a Cadillac was drunk when he crashed into another car on the Southwest Freeway and killed a man this morning. The other car split in half and the driver died instantly. Our reporter Charlie Etzedy on the scene live with what happened. Charlie?
Tom, good morning. Just a really horrific crash that happened right here. We're standing off the feeder road of the Southwest Freeway at the Hillcroft exit. You can see there's still debris from this crash scattered all over the place. And what we know at this point, the call for help came in just before 9:30 last night. This crash involved two vehicles. A driver in a Honda was exiting the Southwest Freeway, and that's when a driver in a Cadillac struck that Honda from behind with so much force. It pushed the car into a concrete pillar, and the car was then split in half. The driver of the Honda was thrown from the car, and then the Cadillac landed on top of this victim, killing that person. According to witnesses who saw this awful crash, they say the driver inside the Cadillac then tried to run away from the scene, but was followed by witnesses, and then the suspect eventually was taken into custody. Right now, it's under investigation whether the driver of the Cadillac was under the influence at the time of this crash. As for the victim, all we know at this point is that he is an adult male. And take a listen to investigators talk about the driver of the Cadillac's decision to run away from this scene.
Witnesses indicated to the driver that he was actually stopped on top of a human, at which point he decided to flee. The witnesses followed him to a location not very far from here, notified police that they were doing that. Houston police responded to both this location and that location.
And right now, the driver of the Cadillac is charged with failure to stop and render aid, and might possibly also be charged with intoxicated manslaughter. From the Southwest side, Charlie Etzedy, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Charlie. Also new this morning, police say a driver hit a pedestrian on Scott and Griggs on Houston's south side. Investigators say the impact of that crash was so strong, the victim hit both the front and back windshields. They were rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Police say the victim was not walking in a crosswalk, but they do believe the driver of that vehicle may have been intoxicated. Later this morning, HPD will escort the body of fallen officer Jason Knox to a funeral home. Knox died from injuries suffered when the police helicopter he was in crashed Saturday. ABC 13 reporter Jeff Ealing is live this morning along the procession route with how he is being remembered. Jeff?
Good morning to you, Samika. HPD officers will be with fallen officer Jason Knox every step of the way from the medical examiner's office to that funeral home on West 34th Street. Tactical flight officer Jason Knox and HPD pilot Chase Cromier were searching for a drowning victim in Greens Bayou Saturday when their HPD helicopter went down. Knox was an 8-year veteran of the force. He died from his injuries. Pilot Chase Cromier was severely injured, his wife posting that Cromier suffered a broken back and faces a long road to recovery. Now, we did speak with one of Cromier's longtime friends who saw him just after he came from surgery. He tells us that Cromier's thoughts were with Jason Knox and his family as they go through this very difficult time, and with the firefighters who worked to free both HPD officers from that wreckage.
Hard to breathe. It's hard for him to talk, but he was more concerned about gratitude and other people and not himself.
But then at the same time, he's going through a whole lot because he lost his partner.
Absolutely. He's got a lot on him. He's got a long road to recovery. It's so hard to see him going through this. He's one of the best guys I know.
The HPD Houston Police Patrol Officers Union has set up a pair of funds to help the families at assisttheofficer.com. We have a link to that website on our website, abc13.com, to make it easier for you to find. The HPD escort for Officer Knox begins this morning at 10:30. Reporting live, Jeff Ealing, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, if you are on the road, you could see an impact from the procession. Here's traffic anchor Catherine Whaley. Catherine?
Yeah, that procession expected to begin about 10:30 this morning. Officer Jason Knox will be escorted from the medical examiner's office over to the funeral home off of West 34th Street. And several major Houston streets will be impacted, including Burtner, Braeswood, Holcomb, also Highway 288 going into downtown Houston, I-45, the 610 North Loop, Shepherd, and West 34th Streets as well. So be prepared to yield to officers along the route. Tom, back to you.
Thanks, Catherine. Here's the latest count in the pandemic. There are now more than 10,000 cases in the Houston area. 261 people have died. More than 3,600 others, though, have recovered. The Houston area now leads the state with the most cases.
I got you, man. Got you.
That was when a 25-year-old man pushed an Austin Park ranger into the water over the weekend and ran off. That ranger was enforcing social distancing rules. The crowd wasn't listening. The man pushed the officer in the water, and they finally arrested him later on. Beginning today, 3 major airlines will require you to wear a mask if you're on board. Delta, JetBlue, and United all start the mask policy today. Other major airlines will soon follow. That includes American, Alaska, Frontier, Spirit, and Southwest. United will provide masks to passengers. Spirit passengers will have to bring their own. Young children will be exempt from the requirements. And Uber will require you to wear a mask if you ride in an Uber, and so will the driver. Uber says it's making it a requirement in a number of countries, including the U.S. They are now working on getting masks to all their drivers and coming up with technology to make riders and drivers more accountable. But they haven't set a date yet for when those masks will be required.
Today, hurricane tracking planes are landing in Sugar Land, and you'll have the chance to see them up close. The data collecting aircraft that fly in the eye of storms will be at Sugar Land Regional Airport from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. The event is open to the public.
All right, let's check on your weather forecast. Here's Alita.
All right, hot and humid to start off the week, but we've got a couple of cool fronts on the way that'll help drop the humidity back and also some slightly lower conditions. Today's highs in the low 90s. We're getting close to the record, but I do think our record at Bush Airport looks to be safe. That record of 94, upper 80s to low 90s across much of southeast Texas. Many of you I know are going to be heading to the coastline this week. Boat and beach forecast still looking not too bad for today, very similar over what we saw over the weekend. One caveat is going to be those rip currents. Red flag warnings are in effect, so please make sure you keep a close eye on your loved ones. Final boundary draped across the Central Plains will be swinging through. Severe weather threat looks to be not high at all across southeast Texas, but certainly not zero. We'll see most of that severe weather staying well to our north. So here's what's playing out. I think we see increasing clouds during the morning hours. Some of these clouds could drop a few rain showers, but scattered showers, brief heavy rain can't be ruled out, especially north of I-10, sliding southward as we go into the overnight hours. Still some rain early Wednesday morning for our coastal communities, and then clearing out by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine in the mix, and that drop in humidity should be felt, especially going into Wednesday night. Thursday morning, waking up to lower conditions. Temperatures still warming up into the upper 80s. That second front that arrives on Friday is going to bring us a fabulous weekend just for our moms.
Well, happy Star Wars Day. It is May the 4th, so may the 4th be with you all day long today, Samika Knight.
And also with you.
And also with you. That's our time for now. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. Join us tomorrow.